Coach's Corner is presented by Roanoke Valley Harley-Davidson. Stop by their store on Peters Creek Road for new and used motorcycles, service and repair, along with Harley-Davidson clothing and collectibles.
Hello and welcome in to another episode of Coach's Corner. I'm Mitch Stewart, and this morning I'm joined by Dawgs head coach Dan Bremner. Dan, thanks for taking the time.
You got it, Mitch.
The Dawgs last week, they finished up that 9-game over 15-day stretch. It ends up starting on Wednesday here at home against Knoxville, and I know that that's one that we haven't really had the chance to talk about yet. It ends up getting a little bit away from you guys in that second period. You do come back with a strong effort in the third period to pull the score a little bit tighter, but what was it in that second period that went wrong for you guys, that maybe went off the rails a little bit, that allowed Knoxville to pad that lead like that, and how were your guys able to respond, or what was that message to them in the second intermission?
Yeah, it was awful. The game was horrible. I thought both teams in the first period were sleepy. It wasn't a very exciting game. It wasn't a very fast game. It wasn't a very physical game. We kept talking to our guys on the bench during the first period. You know, somebody's got to do something here to kind of create some life, whatever that is. And we didn't have anybody stepping up to do it. Then we go into the second period, and every mistake we made was capitalized on from Knoxville. Give them credit. They were also executing at a very high level on Wednesday. In the second period, they picked it up. But really, again, it was absolutely lifeless on our bench. It was lifeless on our ice. Again, talking to guys about doing something to change it. Big hit, make a play, do something, have some volume, and nobody was stepping up. It was really disappointing. You know, quite honestly, I thought after the second period, they were in danger of being the single worst performance I've ever seen in Dawgs history. Obviously, a little bit of push there in the third, but that's also a dynamic thing. You know, Knoxville going in with a big lead like that, teams tend to lighten up a little bit, and we got a few, and who knows, maybe could have made something out of it, but you know, ultimately, you're not digging yourself out of a 7-goal deficit. So. You know, yeah, very disappointing. Was happy to kind of turn the page. After that, we canceled everything on Thanksgiving Day that we were going to be in the rink for, in the Berglund, and just decided to take a day away.
They get that third period performance, though, and they start to at least kind of get back to basics and get back to playing Dawgs hockey. I think you can see that transfer in over to Friday night, and then Saturday night you guys get 2 back-to-back 5-1 wins against the Marksmen, both here on home ice on Black Friday, and then going down there and finishing up that weekend sweep of Fayetteville down there on the road. What was it about the performances those 2 nights? What stuck out to you as far as how you guys were able to find so much success against Fayetteville on those back-to-back games?
Yeah, we like I said, we took the day away from the rink, a little bit away from each other on Thursday, Thanksgiving. Came back on Friday, obviously a quick turnaround, but it was about roles. It was about talking about like how they're contributing to the team individually, and how they plan on contributing to the team for our success as a group. And we kind of detailed that and walked through as an hour-plus meeting, and you know, some of the times when you get into the season and you're a month in, 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is, it can start to feel like long days, and that one maybe felt long, but you can start to, they blend together, and you start to not realize like what you should be doing every single day. So it was a bit of a commitment meeting, and I've said it from the start of the year, we really like the buy-in from this group. They're saying the right things, and part of that meeting was, you know, you guys have said the right things this whole time, and now we've talked about roles and what you need to be doing for us to be successful. You've committed to it. Now it's not about saying the right things. You got to go out and do it. And yeah, both games they played really well. You know, I don't think there was too many let-ups in the game. Maybe in Fayetteville, probably for a 5-minute spurt here or there that we weren't really sharp. But those two games were really solid.
You guys get through that 9 games and 15-day stretch, as we mentioned, and now you've crossed the quarter of the waypoint in the schedule. You've got 16 games under your belt. Looking back at that opening night game, maybe against Huntsville all the way back in October to now, what's one thing that you can really say confidently that the group has improved upon, something that sticks out? And then maybe what is another big focal point for you guys, a big point of emphasis as far as something you're still trying to grind away and chip away at this stage in the season?
I'd say just coming off this last weekend, a learning moment for all of them, for us in the office too, is just like buying into their individual role and knowing what they're going to do to contribute, and giving each other commitments on what they're going to work to be best at every single day. We've seen guys step up in individual roles over the last week in a big way. And then what we got to continue to push is just consistency. I think, in anything in life and in sports, consistency is the most valuable attribute. And, when you can show up for a game or a couple games, 5-1, and look pretty good, that's great. But we can't also have those dips where in 2 periods we're going down 7 goals. So we got to find the balance in that. And when we're not feeling 100% and we're not feeling our A game, how we still contribute being maybe at 90%, 85%. So we'll be continuing to push for that.
Big week from the captain, Rally Dawgs, Matty O'Day. He ends up with 9 points in 3 games. He has 4 points in a single period in that third period to try to dig back in against Knoxville on Wednesday. Follows it up with another 4-point outing on Friday and then adds another assist on Saturday. We obviously know what he can bring to the table with his leadership, but when you're still able to see him play at that high level like he's been able to do throughout the start of this season, but especially last week, what does it do for the team? What does it free up for you guys when you have 15 buzzing around out there?
Yeah, we've joked forever that Matty's a one-man breakout, and when he's on his game, he's up and down the ice, 200 foot, and obviously can contribute on the front end as well. Matty, as far as talking about this group that we love and their response when we have to kind of bark at them, when we have to kind of like dial them in a little bit, forever, Matty's been a guy that when you call him out, when you see something that he needs to be doing better, he'll have a fiery response. He'll be, he does take it personally. You can see it in his face that he gets a little bit upset, and he might have some feedback of his own in the moment about how he feels he's playing. But you always see him regroup. He leaves and comes back with a fire. And that was kind of this week when we were talking about those roles and everything. And then he was the guy to kind of lead the way on that charge. So he's been a great leader so far this year. It's a long season to go here, but pumped he got recognized for a big weekend.
Another player that had a really strong weekend for you guys, the rookie Marcus Fetchko, just 20 years of age, but already 9 points on the season. He's got 5 goals and a couple of really composed finishes with those goals that he's scored on Friday and Saturday. What is it about his game that really sticks out to you, his ability here early on in his pro career? Is he still maybe trying to mature and figure it out? But what is standing out to you about Marcus's play here early on in the season?
Yeah, I think Mark really recognized this week kind of how he has to separate out all the distraction and everything from the game of, what other teams are doing or what he should, what we're trying to get him to do or understand what his role is. And he maybe was getting a little bit drowned out in everything. We talked a lot with him about the bump you get the first couple of weeks of a pro season, especially your first pro season. You're 21 years old, and everything's so new. And he's revving at such a high RPM early that there's going to be ebbs and flows, and you have to manage those throughout the season and understand how you can still contribute. And he was a big one that we were talking to heading into those 2 games. And I thought he did a fantastic job. He was talking more, and he was playing a bit more free. And that was part of the conversation that we had with all the guys. Was just we're going to dump a bunch of information on you, and we're going to dump a bunch of systems and everything on you. And yes, you have to know those. As we're getting through the season, those are so important. But they also just got to play the game, and they're very good hockey players. Everybody in this league is a very good hockey player, and they've been playing the hockey their whole life, and they have to play the game. And when they're thinking too much, it can kind of take them out of it. So, yeah, Mark had an awesome response, and we're looking forward to seeing him continue finding that consistency in it.
You guys have a really good weekend of challenges here coming up with 2 games against Pensacola on Friday and Saturday. Then you guys go to Huntsville on Sunday. That kind of rounds out a big stretch of road work for you guys. But those are 2 teams to start the season. They've been right up at the top of the SPHL standings. You haven't seen the Ice Flyers yet. You've seen Huntsville just the one time back on opening night. What is the scouting report on those 2 squads? And then what are you looking for your team to continue on with here this weekend to hopefully get some good results?
We're looking forward to it. I always love to play top teams, whoever it is at the time. With Pensy, they got Gates down there, first year coach for them this year. He isn't playing really, really disciplined hockey. Defensive style, they don't over push. They wait for you to make mistakes. They look to trap you, and their guys are bought in right now, so they're playing really good hockey. So that'll be fun. Playing down there is always a battle. The humidity is tough in that rink, so making sure that our guys are prepped, today, tomorrow, heading into the weekend, not just worrying about it Friday and Saturday. And then Huntsville, just always they're always they're always up in the standings, and they're so consistent over the last number of years through coaching changes, through personnel changes, through captain changes. They continue to be up there in the standings every year, and they execute. You make mistakes against a team like Huntsville, and they put it in the back of the net. That's where you have to be dedicated to playing those near perfect games to be in a battle with them.
Well, Dan, thanks for your time. Best of luck this weekend on the road.
Thanks, Mitch.
That's going to do it for this episode of Coach's Corner. The Rail Yard Dogs on the road for 3 this weekend down in Pensacola and Huntsville, but they're back home next week starting on Thursday. They'll be here on Thursday and Saturday night here at the Doghouse. Make sure you go online and get your tickets now. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you have a great rest of your day.